guys, so hope you're all doing alright. I know it's obviously quite tricky right now with the lockdown and stuff, you know, especially with the dating side of things. It's obviously a bit tricky now. You know, doing Daygame is like, it's a little bit difficult because obviously you can't really go to like the main streets and stuff because, well, for one thing, they're all empty pretty much, and it's just not really time efficient to you know, do dedicated sessions like on a normal high street because, you know, all the shops are closed, no one's there. But you know, Daygame is still potentially quite possible if you go to like the main parks in your city, or just like, you know, on like the main walking areas where people go for walks and that kind of thing. If you take London, for example, you know, the main parks in central London, or even just the, you know, big parks just anywhere, they're actually really quite packed, and definitely still possible to do dedicated sessions there if you want to. And then there's also South Bank as well, and that's actually really good as well because people are going there for walks, go for a little run. It's actually pretty busy actually on the weekend, so that's definitely something to think about. You know, if you are someone who wants to do some Daygame but is a bit concerned about, you know, the whole situation with the, you know, corona and the social distancing and stuff, it is still possible. So, you know, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say yes, you should all do it, because obviously that's something you have to decide based on your own kind of you know, how you stand in terms of the whole pandemic situation. So, and how, you know, if you're living with vulnerable people, then obviously I wouldn't recommend it. But if you are someone who does want to go out and meet girls, it is still possible. Maybe, you know, even if you just like chat to them in the Daygame interaction, but don't go on a date late until after lockdown ends. That's an option. But yeah, really, you know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, tell you what you should and shouldn't do right now, but that's something for you to decide. But if you do want to, you know, do some Daygame, and you genuinely want to do it, don't let the whole like pandemic thing be an excuse not to do it, because it is still very much possible if you go to the right areas. Because it's very easy to kind of use the whole pandemic as like an excuse not to go out, even though kind of like deep down you want to do it, but it's almost like, oh there's a pandemic going on, oh that's fine, you know, I just won't bother with it. Then, you know, it's easy to make that kind of excuse for yourself. Or, you know, other things like, oh, the girls aren't going to want to speak to me because it's a lockdown, or oh, they're wearing face masks, or it's not possible to speak to girls anymore. It's all bullshit really, and it's all just excuses made up in your head, just false narratives in your own mind. That it's not the reality of the situation, you know. It's really down to you to decide what you want to do right now. This video is really just to let you know that it is still possible if you go to the right areas. And ultimately it's down to you to decide whether you want to do it or not, really. And then obviously another thing you can do is incidental approaches. So what that means is that, you know, as and when you're living your life, say you're at the grocery store, you see a nice looking girl, you just go up and say hi, try and develop a conversation spontaneously. So you're not like specifically going out to do Daygame, you're just integrating Daygame more into your life. So that's something that you can still do as well. And yeah, I mean, obviously people are going to be wearing face masks and stuff, but don't let that deter you. You know, most people are wearing it because they have to, not because they're like, oh fuck you, get away from me. It's not like that. So yeah, like don't worry about the face mask situation. Don't let that intimidate you. Yeah, like, you know, actually most of the responses with the Daygame stuff that I've witnessed myself have been really quite positive. Like, most of the girls are actually quite receptive, because obviously there is a lack of social interaction generally right now, and most people aren't really doing anything now anyway. So if you are, you know, stopping someone like in the park or whatever, you know, keep your social distance, but you know, most of the time you'll find they're actually really receptive, because they're just not doing anything. They're just there chilling, going for a little walk, having a little chat with someone. You know, it's no big deal. It's just like, you know, it's really quite straightforward right now. There's not as many blowouts now, because, you know, people aren't rushing around in London, you know, as it normally is. You know, like at least probably half the girls are just going to ignore you or whatever, because that's normal, because everyone's in a rush. And then of course there's the other option of dabbling into a bit of online dating. I know I've obviously gone on a lot about, you know, how much I fucking hate online dating and how much I think it's a load of shit, but it is still an option, you know. You know, even if you're using it just for practice, you know, maybe just, you know, even if you're not particularly attracted to a girl that you match with, but you still like do a bit of flirting, that kind of thing. It's actually pretty good practice, so that when eventually we do come out of lockdown, you'll be in a much better position afterwards to be able to go out and do your thing, really. Obviously, like with online dating, it's very superficial, and a lot of time wasters, and, you know, girls just, they're on there just for validation. But, you know, it's still good for practice, if nothing else. And, you know, maybe you will meet someone who you can then meet up with, if you're, you know, if you're down, if you're both, you know, happy with that, or wait till lockdown's over, that's fine as well. So there are options. That's kind of the best that you can make out of a shitty situation, basically. And then, if possible, try and leave the country. That's probably the best thing you can do right now. Well, maybe not right now, depending on the border situation of where you're living. But yeah, as soon as you know it's possible to fly out, 100% would recommend to do that, because, you know, it's just an amazing experience to be able to go out and to a foreign country where the whole culture is different and the girls are different. They're usually far more attractive as well compared to what we're used to. So I'm going to be doing some boot camps in Mexico over the next few months, so do get in touch with me if you're potentially interested in that. Yeah, I mean, the advantage really is that if you're someone who's from the UK or from the US, you get, you know, the girls are just like massively attracted to you, because you're just, you know, you're kind of like a rare commodity in their country, and it's just like you have so much value just from being from the UK or from the US or Australia, that kind of thing. So yeah, you get girls just like super into you before you even open your mouth, which is an amazing experience compared to like what we're normally used to in the Western world, where, like, you know, you have to grind things out so much, and, you know, showcase so much value, and it's far more difficult potentially compared to, like, you know, in places like Mexico, where the girls there's like this instant attraction that you don't really get normally, you know, in the UK or in the US. So there's that. And it's a great place to just learn to get good at, you know, speaking to girls, socializing, as well as escalating, because, you know, in a place like Mexico, you know, the girls are far more like sexually liberated and sexually expressive, as opposed to, like, you know, the Western world, where everyone's far more conservative and far more shy. So yeah, it's a great place to come and learn to do escalation with girls and take things to the next level. Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on your approach to girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.